We earn money, save money and buy things. Living beyond the economic cycle is impossible. What trends are dictated by world markets and how does it affect consumers? Watch it in People and Economy. In this program you will know how children's clothes made in Kazakhstan form the country's image, what meditization of baby goods is and what history holds a yellow rubber duck. We are not accustomed to save on children. Even in lower-income families and even in times of crisis, this item of expenditure remained an important issue. Love for children and desire to give them the best created such a phenomenon as the children's industry. Noteworthy that some 200 years ago, there was no trace of it. What we could give to our children in that area? Well, it could be a candy or a toy. Nowadays, the children's industry is hitting record highs in sales volume. So how do manufacturers come to this business? Inna Apenko started producing children's clothes, and it was not a mere chance. Gradually, we worked out our own brand 8 years ago. And it sometimes happens that business objectives in an entrepreneur's life coincide with some personal events. Thus, Mimioriki appeared 1 year later after my son was born. It was a feeling of childhood and motherhood. Everything related to these things was very close for me, and this helped me to understand the children's market much better. Inna with her team opened the first kids' clothes shop in Astana. Subsequently, her trade outlets emerged in other cities of Kazakhstan. However, it was a long family history which preceded the creation of her brand. The history of the product and manufacturing process began earlier, from the creation of a parent company. It was founded by my father, so the history of this company is much longer than those 8 years since Mimioriki appeared. We also have passed a long evolutionary way from the creation of our own brand to entering the market. This has always been our objective, desire and strategy. Ina says that initially her products were intended only for toddlers aged 0 to 3 years old. Those fabrics and material which we use for this vulnerable group are very important for consumers. These clothes are made of top quality, high fiber cotton, which makes them silky and comfortable. This is very important for delicate skin of children between 0 and 1 year old. As years passed, children grew up. Their parents, who got used to this domestic brand, wanted to buy other clothes manufactured by this firm. Later, the company expanded the age range of its goods. Nowadays, Inna's enterprise sells clothes not only for infants, but also for children of 8 and even 12 years old. This is a collection Sport.kz. This national and patriotic collection is one of the most popular among our consumers. We can see a lot of children who represent Kazakhstan at international competitions in Mimioriki clothes, and we are proud of that. At the beginning of the firm's history, it was quite difficult to imagine that these clothes would be much in demand on the market of Kazakhstan. It was very difficult to compete with foreign companies. In addition, many people were not confident of children's clothes offered by domestic manufacturers. It was difficult for us because, unfortunately, consumers from Kazakhstan were surprised to see high-quality goods manufactured in Kazakhstan. People simply did not believe us that we produced everything in Kazakhstan. This was because many projects are being implemented not in the fashion industry but in other industries, for example in the food industry. In addition, there are a lot of companies which call themselves Kazakhstani brands but manufacture their goods outside of Kazakhstan. Inna Apenko and her company ran a risk and staked on the full production cycle of children's clothing. Many years of existence, rates of the company's growth and buyers' confidence demonstrate that people of Kazakhstan highly appreciate goods manufactured by Inna's enterprise. Along with that, the company tries its best to set comfortable prices on its clothes. The brand is affordable for general population of Kazakhstan. It is important for us because we were born and grew up here, and this one of the tasks we set ourselves. Among the great number of the company's growth areas, the most interesting are rather the following two: direct delivery of goods to consumers by means of internet trading and conquering of children's clothes markets in neighboring countries. We already sell small batches of goods to Russia. One of our main strategies of the nearest 5 years is to create a full-fledged distribution network in Russia. This is our priority. We have concluded preliminary agreements with our Russian partners. Several times we won awards at fashion competitions in Russia, where our brand was recognized as one among the best brands of clothes in Russia and CIS countries. The period of economic growth in Kazakhstan fostered the development of the children's goods industry. Many parents wanted and ultimately got the chance to give their children a great many of toys and clothing, which perhaps was unavailable in their childhood. According to the statistics, an average family from Kazakhstan is ready to spend almost 35% of its earnings on their children. The most part of this sum accounts for goods and education, and 25% on various entertainments. We should pamper our children because we don't know what kind of life awaits them. However, what we mean by pamper is a question. Children are the best thing in the world which we can have. Their spontaneity, desire to know everything, amazing eyes, interest and activity waken in us the desire to live. More than 350,000 babies are born in Kazakhstan every year. This ensures the growth of the baby goods market by almost 3%. On the whole, the concept baby goods industry consists of 7 key categories. There are baby food, feeding products, indoors and outdoors goods, clothing, footwear, toys, hygiene goods and children's crafts goods. Taking into account the whole country's economy, baby goods in terms of money is not a very important investment. At the same time, this is a sort of a touchstone. The development of the industry of baby goods indicates the industrialization level of the whole country. According to research data released by the Kazakhstan Association of Baby Goods Industry (KABGI), 78% of foreign trade turnover with children goods in Kazakhstan is accounted for 5 countries: China 31.9%, Russia 27.9%, Poland 9.7%, Kyrgyzstan 4.5% and Turkey 3.9%. The rest 22% of transactions are concluded with manufacturers from other countries. According to the statistics, imported children's goods in our country cover the major part of consumers' demands. Nonetheless, domestic producers of baby goods forge ahead and increase their attempts to occupy the right place at the market. Kazakhstan, no doubt, manufactures its own baby goods. The only thing is that they are produced in small quantities. For a long time, this hadn't been a core business area for domestic manufacturers. They neither expanded their activities nor produced more baby goods in order to let consumers know about their availability. Nonetheless, since recently some economic factors, such as the customs union, joining to the EU and devaluation of the national currency, made the production of baby goods in Kazakhstan profitable. And for many companies, it has become the core sphere of activity. The market of children's goods is quite specific. It faces heightened goods safety and quality requirements. At the same time, goods should be affordable. Conversely, it forms a special environment where children grow up and develop. Therefore, children's goods are not only business but a strategic tool for upbringing of next generations. The market of children's goods is not so profitable for the country's economy, but in any way, it creates workplaces and has a positive effect. This is a socially important sector because many things depend on what clothes our children wear, what games they play, what books they read, and what food they consume. On the average in Kazakhstan, parents spending on baby goods for a child aged between 0 and 14 years, which is about 200,000 tenge per year. Most of all is spent on children's clothes, footwear 26% and toys 31%. Despite the fact that the market of children's goods in Kazakhstan does not seem large, experts say about its rapid growth. Whereas the global market of children's goods is growing by approximately 15% per year, in Kazakhstan this index reaches about 52%. Analysts note that the mass production of baby goods in Kazakhstan can be proved only due to the state support. Tax concessions are an example. In the meantime, low-cost labor is expected to increase exports of manufactured goods to neighboring states. Of course, currently there are no special programs for the children's goods industry. However, the state has developed quite a lot of programs for all the market players, such as industrial development parks or soft-term financing. The question is how entrepreneurs themselves benefit from these programs. I think that in this issue we should take into account their level of literacy, professionalism and business development. The state has already adopted a number of serious initiatives in relation to soft-term financing, and manufacturers confirm this fact. Probably we belong to that small number of manufacturers who are very grateful to the state for those instruments which have already been created. Currently, I would say, ideal conditions have been established for young entrepreneurs to help them to start their business. For comparison, when we were establishing our company in 1997, interest rates were quite different. We paid 40% per annum. Meanwhile, nowadays bank rate is 14%. Moreover, 7% is subsidized by Damu Fund. So as for credit rates, we have almost approached to the world standards. This is very important for business development. Nowadays, the market of children's goods is evaluated at more than $400 billion. Annually grows by almost 25%. Indeed, even during the loss of purchasing power, parents first of all abandon purchasing goods for themselves in favor of their children. Thus, for example, people in Europe buy new toys to their children almost every week. Experts link this tendency to the people's capacity to pay. It is a true fact that the higher are the parents' incomes, the more often they buy toys. In general, residents of France, Germany, Italy, Spain and the UK spend more than €500 per year on goods for children under 11. Expenses for children in the US are as high as in the EU. To meet needs of their kids, the Americans spend almost $1,500 annually. Another $500 are spent on school preparation. According to marketing experts, in early September, costs of American parents for clothes, footwear and writing materials exceed $30 billion. At the same time, the market of children's goods made in the US is evaluated at almost $85 billion. Notably, a low-quality toy or clothing is rather an exception because the law imposes strict requirements to materials. Besides that, the risk of purchasing defective goods is lower due to the absence of unregulated markets. In fact, 80% of all sales in the country are made in special hypermarkets. The rest things are bought in online shops. The best-selling products in online shops are children's cosmetics and toys. The average purchase size in these categories is about $50 per 3 items. In the meantime, most parents buy baby food and clothing in traditional shops. Nowadays, the industry of baby goods and services is experiencing several interesting processes. So-called meditization is one of the most important vectors. 90% of children's products' cost is created from long, multi-character stories, for instance, animated series. Another area is the development of long-lasting educational products such as comics, books, cartoons, computer games and toys which would grow up with a child and give him or her a good chance to solve new problems. The media market, films and cartoons have a huge impact on the toy market. License has become a key driver of the toy market. The children's goods industry is unique, and its main factor is that the consumer and the buyer, in this case, are two different persons. The yellow rubber duck is one of the most popular toys for bath. Almost each child has it. The toy has an amazing history. In 1992, a storm broke out in the Pacific Ocean. A box with yellow toy ducks dropped from the ship bound for the US from Hong Kong. The box broke as it fell and a flock of yellow ducklings spread around the world. They emerged near the shores of Canada, Alaska and other places. And thanks to these rubber ducks, scientists could learn more about ocean currents.